If you enjoy learning the Cherokee language with RSU TV, join our Signal Society. Your monthly gift of $10 a month ensures that RSU TV can continue to produce programs like the Cherokee language classes. Click the link in the description or call 1-800-823-7210 to join today.
Osionigod, Wade Blevins, Dawadon, and this is RSU Cherokee 2. So hopefully you are doing well. So this is Tatline second Chalagi Adelo Kwaske Cherokee lesson. All right, so let's go ahead and idalena. Idalena means let's begin. Chalagi idiwoni. Let's speak in Cherokee. So just as a review from what we did last time, one of the things that we hope that you will be able to, one of the tasks that we hope you'll be able to accomplish by the end of this course is to do a short introduction of yourself in Cherokee. And so these are the kinds of things that hopefully we're going to talk about one at a time. So last time we did Dawadon or Dawadon, and that is my name, okay? So we're going to back up, and just in case you don't know, Osio Nigada, Osio Nigad, that means hello everyone. All right, so I think I was going through the lessons and I realized that I don't think I ever taught you Osio, hello. So you see it all the time. If you watch OCO TV, that's what OCO TV means, hello TV. And there are a couple ways to say it. There's the long way, ganahid, Osio. And you can see there, you see the first character, O, and then we have C, and then we have the one that looks like an H with a hat on it, and that's Yo. And so O-C-Yo, O-C-O. Probably most people in communities, especially if they're speaking to people that they're very familiar with, friends and relatives, those kinds of things, they will take the O off and they just say CO, CO. Okay, both of them are perfectly correct. You can say OCO or CO. Either one is fine. I've heard some people, old people have said that this comes from the word OC. OC means fairly well or fairly good. You'll hear that in communities for how are you. They'll say OC or OC. That means are you pretty good. So the first part of OCO, some people have said that OC means fairly well. And then the yo, they say a long time ago that used to be you, OCU. And the U is like an intensifier. For example, like do you really, okay, OCU. So some people say that that's the kind of the etymology or the origins of our word for hello, OCO. Okay, then the second word, ni, ga, da, nigada. Nigada, that can mean everybody, that can mean everything, that can mean all. Again, there's a short way to say it. There's nigada or there's nigad, nigad. You'll probably hear me use Osio nigad. That means hello everyone. All right? So usually if you're going to introduce yourself, especially to a group of people, say you've been asked to speak at a meeting or a conference or something like that, and you've been asked to speak to a group of people, this is probably going to be the first thing that you say. You say Osio nigad, Galiele jigeto kohig, I'm happy that I am here today. So, but today, our introduction word osio nigod. All right? So real quickly, Didi Nogi, let's sing. Okay, and as you can see in the OCO song, or in this song, the CO has been shortened to the O character is not there. It's just CO, gato usti, de zadon. Okay, gato usti means what? De zadon is your name. Gato usti de zadon. So what is your name? Again, we've talked about there are other ways to ask what your name is. Sometimes they'll say do us de zadon. Some people say gato usti de zadon. Some people say do de zadon. Some people will say gato de zadon. All of those are asking what your name is. There are lots of different ways to ask it, and it's just kind of permutations of this gato usti de zadon. Okay. And then, of course, to say my name is, you say your name first, and then you say da wadon. I like to think of it as is my name. So Wade da wadon, or I could say unole da wadon. Unole is Jalaki ganti da wadon is my Cherokee name. Okay, and then we have in the original version of the song we said. Ginale que sesti, let's be friends. But in the new version, we're going to say digega, because this will help you in your introductions to talk about where somebody is from. Digega means I am from a certain place. Of course, I will say tlaiko. Tlaiko is the name of my town. That's J. Digega. Tlaiko digega. Or I could say something like Wadulisu Weyan, that's the community where I'm from, which is just north. Juhidladid, Tlaiko, that's just north of J. All right, so let's sing it real quick so you'll know it. So Didi Nogi, Sawu, Tal, Jong, CO, gado usti de jado. CO, gado usti de jado. Weda wado, klaiko digegan. Okay, so that's the song that will help you remember all of these different words. And these are words that are very, very common. You'll use them a lot if you're around Cherokee speakers, or even if you're around Cherokee learners. So the vocabulary that we're going to use today for something that you can use right away is, let's look at the characters. This is D, Ja, Su, La. Okay, D, Ja, Su, La. Okay, but we shorten it and we say Dij, Su, La. Dij, Su, La. That means wash your hands. Okay, that's how you tell somebody, go wash your hands. Dij, Su, La. I tell my daughter that all the time, especially during the COVID outbreak. I'm always telling her, hey, Dij Sula, go wash your hands. Okay? So, Dij Sula, Dij Sula. Okay? So that ja, we shorten it. We take the ah part off. We just say Dij Sula. Dij Sula. Dij Sula. Wash your hands. So some extra sentences that kind of use that vocabulary. This is Gadaha Ama Degasula. Degasula. Okay, Gadaha means dirty. Okay, Ama, water. Degasula, I washed my hands. Okay, Gadaha Ama Degasula. Okay, I wash my hands in dirty water. Okay, I wash my hands in dirty water. The second one says do de su la kohiya. Okay, now if we remember our characters, that first one that looks like a capital A, that is go, but it can also make the ko sound with a K. Ko. Kohiya. Kohiya. That means later. Kohiya. Later. Okay? Doda sula. Doda sula. Kohiya. He's going to wash his hands later. Kohiya. Doda sula. Okay? Then this was o, hla, s. Ohlas, ohlas, hati, hati, de ha su le ska. Okay, de ha su le ska. Okay, ohlas, hati. Ohlas means soap. Ohla is soap. S makes it a question. Ohlas, using dehasuleska. Okay, so that's how you would ask someone, are you using soap when you wash your hands? Okay, dehasuleska. Okay, are you using soap when you wash your hands? Okay, so that's extra for the vocabulary command. Dijsula. Go wash your hands. All right? Okay, so we started with a traditional story. Stories are one of the best ways to get comprehensible input, okay? So it's ways to get, a good way to get language that makes sense and it's used in context. And this is one of the best ways that studies show that we acquire language over time. Hearing the language used properly in context like this and knowing what the words mean, this will help you kind of internally acquire the language that you need, okay? So we learned a traditional story about this little guy right here. This is Jutli, right? Jutli, and Gistan, okay, or Gistan, okay? This is a crawdad and a fox, all right? So let's go ahead and try to read this story all in syllabary, okay? We'll go kind of slow and we'll then go back through it. So this says, Ilahiyu jagesa jutli ale jistana anehe. Okay? Ilahiyu jagesa jutli ale jistana anehe. So let's take this first sentence right here. Ilahiyu jagesa jutli ale jistan anehe. And let's look. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words in this sentence. Ilahiyu jagesa jutli ale jistana anehe. So I want to ask you a couple of questions, okay? So in those 6 words, can you pick out which of those words is jutli? Jutli. Jutli. All right? Jutli. Okay, and it's the third word right here. The one that looks kind of like a half note and the letter C. Okay, that's jutli. Okay, what about anehe? Anehe. 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 Okay, and that's the last word in the sentence. Anehe. Anehe. What about the word Elihu? Elihu, Elihu, Elihu. Okay, that's this one, the very first word right here. Elihu. Okay, Elihu. All right, and now, so let's translate the sentence really quickly. Elihu Jagesa, a long time ago, Jutli, Ale, and Jistana, Anehe. Okay, there was, Anehe means there was, Jutli, Ale, Jistana. There was a fox and a crawdad. Okay, the next one. That first word you should know because we had it in the first sentence. So what word is that? Okay, that's jutli. Good. And what about this next word? Can we read that? Ale. Ale. Good. And then this word right here, we also had it up here. Jistana. Jistana. Good. Una Dogiastana. Okay? Una Dogiastana. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So if we change this do to to, un Togiastana. Un Togiastana. Okay? That makes a lot more sense. They raced. Okay? Un Togiastana. They raced. So the second sentence says, Jutli, Ale, Jistan, Untoki Yastana. They had a race. Okay? Jutli, Ale, Jistana, Untoki Yastana. So the fox and the fox and the crawdad, Untoki Astana. This is the sign for they raced. Okay, Untoki Astana. Okay. Un na le na he. Un le na he. Okay, un le na he. At the start, un le na he. Okay, and then what is this word here? We've had it twice now. Gistana. Gistana. Jistana. Wajiniya sela. Wajiniya sela. Wajiniya sela. Wajiniya sela. He grabbed. Jutli. Jutli. And then this word here. Ga, ni, da, da. Okay. Ga, ni, da, da. Ga, ni, da, da. Okay. And that's a tail. Ganita. So, unlenahe, when it started, Jistan, Wajiniya Sela, he grabbed, Jutli, Ganita, he grabbed the fox's tail. Okay? And then this word here again, can we read it? Good. Jistana. Wu Kitla, this can be gi or it can be ki. Wu kitla, okay, wu kitla. That means to ride or to straddle. Wu kitla, jutli, gani data. Okay, so let's see if you can read this sentence. All of these words you've had, except for wu kitla. Okay, all these words you've had so far. So let's see if you can read it. So the first word, jistana. The second word, wu kitla. Good. The third word, the half note in the C, jutli. And the last word of that sentence, good. Gani data, gani data. Okay? So hopefully you're able by now to recognize at least one or two of the words in here just by sight. maybe this word jutli, because it's in the paragraph quite a bit. So hopefully just by looking at it, you can recognize that that's what that word is, jutli, fox. All right? Let's go to the next sentence. Okay. Wu ni squat. Duh. Wu ni squat. Duh. Wu ni squat. Duh. Wu ni squat. Duh. When it was finished. Anatogiyaska. Okay. So it's related to this word, antogiyaska. So when the race was finished, okay, antogiyaska, okay, wunisquatta antogiyaska, when the race was finished, gistana wudlosa, 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 okay, gistana wudlosa, jutli ganidata. Okay, so gistana, you hopefully recognize that that's a crawdad. Wudlosa, he got off. That's getting off of something. Wudlosa. This can be getting off of a horse, getting off of a bicycle. This could even be like getting off a bus or something like that. Wudlosa, to get off of something. Okay, gistana wudlosa, jutli ganidata. So he got off the fox's tail. Gistana, gistana. Okay, udatlose, udatlose. Okay, so gistana. Okay, udatlose. Won, to win something. So he won. Udatlose. Eliske, eliske. Na, jutli. Thought, na, jutli. The fox. Okay. Aseno, aseno, but. Aseno. Gistana. Gistana. Ulonu hetle. Ulonu hetle. Ulonu hetle. Okay, ulonu hetle. That means cheated. Okay, aseno. Gistana. Ulonu hetle. He cheated. The crawdad cheated. Jutli. Wa ji ya wa ji ya na gistan. Okay, so the fox gobbled up or ate na gistan. Okay, so he ate the crawdad. Okay, so let's read it all the way through one more time, slowly. Try to read it with me, okay? Do your best. If you don't know a word, that's fine. Just go to the word you do know, okay? Okay, Idalena. Ilahiyu jagesa jutli ale gistana anehe jutli ale gistana untokiyastana untokiyastana unlenahe gistana wajiniya sela jutli ganidata gistana wukila jutli ganidata wunisquata antokiyaska gistan wudlosa jutli gani data gistana udatlose eliske na jutli aseno gistana ulonuhetle jutli wajia na gistana. Okay, so I'll read it one more time. I'm going to read it at a more conversational pace. So this time, I want you to just listen to me, and I want you to kind of follow in your mind, picture in your mind the story as it goes, okay? And, all right? Kom, Idalena. Ila hujagesa jutli ale gistana anehe. Jutli ale gistan untoki yastana. Unlena he gistan wajaniya sela jutli gani data. Gistan wukitla jutli gani data. Moon squatta antoki yaska. Gistan wudlosa jutli gani data. Gistan udatlose eliske na jutli. Ase no gistan ulonu hetle jutli wajia na gistan. Okay? Excellent. So hopefully you feel pretty comfortable with the story as it is. Let's take that same story and let's add some more details to make it more interesting, okay? All right, so this one says, Ilahu jagesa nigada inage anehi eli dan klanoheska. Okay, so here we have the word dantlanoheska, that's talking to each other, dantlanoheska. So ilahi jagesa, hopefully you know what that word means, a long time ago. Nikada, all, inage anehi, that's wild animals, okay? Inage means way out or wild in the woods. Anehi, the ones that live. So the ones that live out in the woods. Inage anehi. Eli could. Dantlano heska. They could talk to each other. So ilahu jagesa nigad inage anehi eli dantlano heska. So all the wild animals could talk to each other a long time ago. Sawu Iga Klawo tuhi na amayulti adansino adansindo he gistan adansini do he. Okay, adansini do adansini doha means to crawl around. Okay, adansini doha. So it could be a snake, it could be a crawdad, it could be a person. Adansini doha. Okay, that adansin means to kind of drag. So gansin means to drag. Adansini doha. That means like to drag yourself around. Okay. Sawu, one, iga, day. Sawu ik, one day. Tlawo tuhi. That's mud. Na'a means next to or near. Amayulti, near the edge of the water. Adansini dohe, gistan. So mud near the edge of the water. Adansini dohe, gistan. The crawdad was crawling around. So in English that makes more sense. to us. It says, one day the crawdad was crawling around in the mud near the edge of the water. Okay. Na we just had that word. Jutli wu wotla. Okay, na jutli wu wotla. So nearby, jutli, fox, wu wotla, was sitting. Okay, wu wotla. Hopefully you remember that from Cherokee 1. So nearby, a fox was sitting. Unle he Dantlano heska. Dantlano heska. Okay. Unle he means start. So they started. Unle he Dantlano heska. They started to talk to each other. Okay. Or visit or chat. Okay. Dantlano heska. They were chatting. Jutli jistan utadane. Okay, so Jutli, the fox, jistan, the crawdad, utadane, he asked him. So the fox asked the crawdad, Doyus hisanul gadon ale amai ke hisanul. Okay, now this is kind of an odd sentence, but let's take it word by word and let's figure it out. So do you means really. That's at the end makes it a question. Okay, do you really or are you really? Hisanul, you are fast. Okay, so are you really fast? Gadon on the earth or on the ground. Ale and amai ke ama water. Amai in the water. Amai ke. This is a comparison. We've talked about ke being like an either or hisanul, and we learned that one already. You are fast. Okay, so it says, Doyus hisanul gado ale amai ke hisanul. So this is like asking, are you really as fast on the land as you are fast in the water? So he's asking, are you as fast on land as you are in the water? Doyus hisanul gado ale amai ke hisanul. Okay, so Jutli jistan utadane asked, Doyus hisanul gadon ale amai ke hisanul. So, are you just as fast on the land, gadon on the land, amai in the water, ke or hisanul? Okay. We know that. Yes, udane jistan said the crawdad. Udane jistan, utloi jisanul. The same, utloi means the same. Jisanul, I am fast. Gadon, ale, amai. Okay, so I'm the same fast on the ground. Gadon, ale, amai. Okay, so I'm just as fast on the ground as I am in the water. Udane jistan utloi jisanul gadon ale amai. Okay, gadon means on the earth, ale amai in the water. Ama water, amai in the water. Okay, and this word up here. This is a picture of two zebras. Utloi, they're the same, right? They're alike. Okay, utloi means the same or like. Okay, jutloi, you can also say that. Okay. Now this is uwohiyune. That means to believe. Okay. Okay. Jutli. Kla. You wo he you ne. He did not believe. Okay, Jutli kla you wo he you ne. He did not believe. Okay. Untoki asti dunuk tane Jutli ale jisten. Untoki asti race dunuk tane. They decided dunuk tane. They decided Jutli ale jisten. So who was it? Jutli, Fox, Ale, Geeston, and the Crawdad. Dunuk tane, they decided untoki asti, to race. Okay, so let's read this sentence one more time. Jutli kla you wo he you ne. Okay, Jutli kla you wo he you ne. He didn't believe him. Untoki asti dunuk tane Jutli ale Geeston. So they decided to race the fox and the crawdad. All right, so that's as far as we're going to go in the story. Since we added so many details, we weren't able to get through the whole story. So we're going to talk. We're going to talk about it. I see that my predictive text, when I was creating this, changed Anehi to Anaheim. So real quickly, let me go in and change that word. Nehi. And it changed it again. Anehi. Okay, let's see if we can. Aha, there it is. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to read it several times, and we're going to talk about different words in the story, okay? And this will also help me. I'm still trying to get more proficient at reading syllabary. I know what all the syllabary characters are, but when you read them in context, in words and sentences and paragraphs, sometimes it can be difficult to put the right inflection in and that kind of thing. So, but the only way to get better at it is to do it more often. And just remember, I'm a learner just like you, so this is going to help me learn, and hopefully this is going to help you learn as well. And we can do it together. We can get better at our Cherokee, both reading and hopefully in speaking as well. Okay? So, I'm going to read it really slowly. As I'm reading it, try to follow along in your mind what each of what we're talking about, okay? You don't necessarily have to translate every single word, but just kind of know where we're at in the story, okay? So, it says, Ilahiu jagesa nigada inage anehi eli dantlano heska sawu iga Klawo tuhi na amayulti adan sini dohe jistan na jutli wu wotla unlena he dantlano heska jutli jistan utatane doyus hisanul gadon ale amayi ke hisanul udane jistan utloyi jisanul gadon ale amayi jutli kla yuwo hiyune untokiyasti dunuk tane Jutli ale Geeston. Okay? hopefully you were able to kind of at least pick out a couple of words as we were going through. And maybe you were able to understand entire sentences, and maybe you were able to understand the entire thing, okay? So I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to Miss Peggy Gertie Flute for helping with the translation of this story. So let's go ahead and let's read it at a more conversational level. And then we'll kind of go back through and hit the high points of the story, okay? All right, so it says, Ilahi ujagesa nigada inage anehi eli dantlano eska. Sawu iga tlawo tuhi na amayulti adansini do he gistan na jutli wu wotla. Unlena he dantlano heska. Jutli gistan utadane. Do use hisanul ga do ale amai ke hisanul. Udane gistan. Utloi gisanul ga do ale amai. Jutli tla yuo hi yune. Untoki asti du nuktane. Jutli ale gistan. Okay? We might come back to this here in just a second if we have time, but let's challenge ourselves. So here's the exact same story, but it's all in syllabary, okay? So we've heard it read a few times now. Let's see if we can read our way through it slowly. Then we'll try to speed it up just a little bit, okay? All right, this first 2 words. We should know this. We know it was the same way that the first story started. So can you tell me what those first 2 words are? Ilahiyu jigesa. Ilahiyu jigesa. Long time ago. Nigada. Nigada. All. Inage anehi. That's wild animals. Inage anehi. The ones that live out in the wild. Eli could. Eli danatla he ska. Dan tla no he ska. And what is dantlano heska? They could talk to each other, right? So let's read that sentence one more time. Ilahiyu chikesa nigada inage anehi eli dantlano heska. Good. Okay, this is sa-gu. Okay, some people say sawu, some people say sagwu. Sagwu, iga. Sagwu, iga. One day. Tlawo. This is do normally, but in this case, since we already know the story, this is to. Tlawo, to he. Tlawo, to he. Mud, tlawo, to he. Na, close by. Amayulti. Okay, this is li, but we shorten it. We take the e part off and just leave the l sound. So we say amayulti. Amayulti. Next to the water. Remember we learned that ama is water. Amayi, in the water. Amayulti, alongside the water. So it's kind of like saying the river bank or the creek bank. Okay? Amayulti. Adansini doha. Adansini doha. Okay, crawling around. G stunna. Sawu iga. Klawo tuhi na amayulti. Adan sini doha. G stun. Na nearby. Ju tli. Wu wo tla. Wu wo tla was sitting. Na ju tli. Wu wo tla. Una lena he. Una lena he. They started dan tla no heska. They started talking. Dan tla no heska. Ju tli. G stun. U ta dane. Now I know this looks like the same. This looks like u da dane, but we know u ta dane. U ta dane. Do use he sanul gadon ale amayi ke he sanul. Okay, jutli gistan utadane do use he sanul gadon ale amayi ke he sanul. Udane gistana. Utloyi gisanul gadon ale amayi. Jutli kla yuwohiyune. Yuwohiyune didn't believe him. Untokiyasti, a race. Dunuktane, this is a really hard one to read because this says dunugotane. Dunuktane, decided. Jutli ale gistana. All right? So, that brings us to the first part of the story. Now, there are a few words that I thought might come in handy for you. So, we have dantlanoheska. Dantlanoheska. That means they were chatting or they were talking to each other. Dantlanoheska. They were talking or chatting. Then we have this word that's kind of a fun one to say. This is adansini dohe, adansini dohe, or adansini doha. You can say huh instead of he. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, the difference between he and huh. But adansini doha, that means crawling around. He was crawling around. Okay? Then we have uwohiyu ne. There's kind of an H sound through your nose and that ne. Okay? Uwohiyu ne. Maybe, hopefully you can hear it, and I'm going to try not to get boogers all over my computer screen, okay? Uwohiyu ne. He believed. Uwohiyu ne. And then we have dunuk. Tane, they decided, okay? So we have dantlanoheska, they were talking. Adansini dohe, they were crawling around. Uwohiyune, believed. And dunuk tane, decided. All right, so these are some important words that I think you might like. That brings us to the end of our second class. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you got a lot of value from it. And so, ihe dola come back, and we'll see you next time. Jadok sos desdi wadon.